Thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, guys, the Copenhagen Wolves coming out strong here in Game 2. Not too phased by that loss in Game 1. What do we make of picks and bans? Denial this time on the blue side, first lock in Jax, and then the rest of their team comp. What did you make of it?
I want to be quite frank, and I don't know if I like the Annie pick. Unlimited did good work with it. He had a lot of good stuns, but I just feel like it's the second game in a row, Soraka and Annie, using supports that we're not seeing anybody else be successful with. So you have to ask, you have to question why. But at the end of the day, stuns were good, so he made it work. That's what matters.
Yeah, have we found the edge of his champion pool maybe as well? Peke, what did you make of both comps?
Well, exactly. It worked in the end, so it was a good pick. But I was worried like you at first, because he's not really a reliable engage. Only when he has flash, he can actually do good engage. Without flash, there is no way they can catch anyone. So I was a bit scared of that, but it worked out, especially in that mid-fight where he managed to stun them all and combo them with Fix ultimate and kill them.
Exactly, he did really well, and we actually have a replay of that fight and that stun. You can pull that up on the screen. It's beautiful when it goes out well for an Annie, of course.
It really is. Up until this point, Copenhagen Wolves had really only just clawed very small advantages. Let's roll this replay out, and things get very chaotic very, very quickly. Youngbuck manages to join in from behind. You actually see a teleport coming down from Babunya on Jax, and initially, I started thinking to myself, this is going to be very, very scary. But look at the stun there from Unlimited. He locks up both Twitch and Lulu and just gets all of that burst damage down with the Hemo Plague, with Ziggs, and they just melt absolutely every single member of Denial. Unlimited is the man of the moment in that team fight.
Yeah, big stun by Annie. The Jax couldn't do that much. Remember yesterday, Kevin having that 5-man stun, it was very, very well. But then here, even though they invested so much in the Jax, it didn't really pay out.
Yeah, they gave him 2 kills early, which is really good, but they didn't really get anything from that. He still lost the turret first. He was equal in farm. The Vladimir was still able to farm. Even if he was like 1-5, he was as useful as the Jax. Like, what are 2 kills when Copenhagen Wolves was taking Drake, turrets, even top turret, and they had... Vladimir probably had the same goal, even being so behind in kills.
Yeah, Jax can 1v5 in theory, but he needs to be way further ahead to pull it off when your whole team just gets instantly popped.
Yeah, I think also he should try to split push a bit more until he get a bit tanky, because at that point he had the damage to kill anyone one-on-one, but he was a squeezy. He died, like, he did 3 hits, I think, a stun, and he died. So he had to wait until he had Trinity Force, maybe a Randuin and a Negatron or something, then he can go into a fight and do whatever.
Much like Denial in Game 1, Copenhagen Wolves really pushed their advantage when they could, and they actually went straight for the objectives and the inhibitor, and actually a good fight at the inhibitor as well, as we can pull that replay up on the screen where Amazing had some cool resets.
Yeah, so Amazing manages to get some very good resets. I want to ask your opinion on Denial's positioning on this one, because it felt to me like it was a little off. Let's roll this clip out, and Peke, talk to me about the 2 different teams.
Okay, well, right now that engage is a bit weird, but they managed to pull it off really good, because they one-shot the Thix and the Graves. They are not even able to flash away, which is a bit bad from them not to react. But then they let the Vladimir really low HP to escape, come back, and the Kha'Zix was pretty much full HP on touch, and he's full damage, he's not tanky. So they ignored him for too long, I think. They should have tried to kite him earlier, or not get so confident that they thought the fight was over probably when they killed the 2 carries. And they just went like moving around, they stopped focusing, and Vladimir kept hitting. Kha'Zix went on them and killed them, and yeah, he was full HP on touch.
I want to say, even though Denial lost this game, I feel like they did show initiative when they were behind, like that mid-game fight. They did teleport in, they tried to go for it, so I feel like with a few adjustments, the next game could be close.
If you actually go back and look at from the beginning of this game to the mid-game, it was Denial that were in the lead. They had the kills, they had a Jax that was looking like he was going to get fed, but there was some good map play around the 15 to 20 minute mark, where Wolves took 2 towers in quick succession. They got a Dragon as well, and it gave them that gold lead and that confidence they needed to push through and get control of the match back.
So we have to turn the question around. After Game 1 it was, what do Copenhagen Wolves have to do? Now it is, what do you think Denial has to do going into picks and bans of the next game, Peke?
Well, I think their picks were kind of fine. I don't really like they really have, the Twitch is good, but he was so easy to catch there with Annie, Thix. He has no way to get in. Maybe, like I said, they will have pick the same but play differently. A split push, a bit longer. Twitch bottom, he can one-on-one anyone. Jax top, he can one-on-one anyone. Wait until they are really fed, because you saw in those fights, when Twitch gets to hit and crit, he can kill anyone in 2 or 3 shots, but they didn't let him get enough items.
Completely agree. I actually feel picks and bans was pretty good from Denial, and it comes down to execution. I think they had a very good early game, but it just kind of fell to pieces a little bit in the mid game. So more decisive play from them.
Trevor, do you think that they might not necessarily know when to split push?
It definitely could be. I mean, it's one of the more difficult facets of this level of play. So it could also be the fact that Copenhagen Wolves didn't give them the chance. Copenhagen Wolves grouped up, forced the reaction down the mid lane, and something Deficio was saying during the cast. Ignore Jax. He is forced to either take a tower alone and then lose an inhibitor turret, or he needs to recall, in which case you get the advantage anyway. So it needs to be a bit of push and pull.
We'll see what happens in Game 3, but we need to take a quick break. When we return, it is time for that Game 3 between the Copenhagen Wolves and Denial.